performed by the vacuum cleaner is right. So that comes the concept of the rationality, or that is called as the rational agent. So rational agent are providing the rationality. Now what do you mean by the rational agent? Again, the rational agent is one that does the right thing. Okay, the rational agent is one that does the right thing. So for example, I given you the example of umbrella. Okay, if you watch the TV in the morning before leaving the house and you find that the news reporter says today it is going to rain, and accordingly you are carrying an umbrella, so that activity is called as a rationality. That is, you are doing the right thing given what it knows. मतलब तुमको पता है कि क्या होने वाला है और उसके accordingly तुम precautions लेते हो या फिर उसके accordingly तुम steps perform करते हो. So that is the right behavior or called as the right thing. Okay, that is the same way. Every entry in the table for the agent function is correct. Okay, because this entry, now this is a agent table. This is also called as an agent table, which is created by the agent function, right? So we assume that every entry in the table is produces the right action. Okay, that is every entry in the table for the agent function is correct. So we are assuming that every entry in the table is performing the right task. So accordingly, the agent or the vacuum cleaner agent can be considered as a rational agent, because we are fitting this criteria, or we are fitting this programming in the agent mind, or we are fitting this criteria, or we are fitting this sequence in the agent's program. So accordingly he will perform the operation, right? Accordingly he will perform the operation. Now it is always better, just look at this term or look at this statement. Doing the right thing is always better than doing the wrong thing. Okay, now this is applicable to the real life also and the robotic life also. Okay, this term is applicable to the real life also and the AI. How do you know that you are performing the right thing, or how do you know that agent is performing the right thing, or how do you know that the agent is vacuum cleaner agent is a rational agent? How to know that? So for that we need to find out what is the correctness. For that we need to find out what is correctness. Now what is correctness? Correct the action that causes the agent to be more successful. So we need to find out the action, or we need to find out a sequence that produces the best possible result. We need to find out the operation or action that can produce the best possible result or most successful result. Okay. So here comes the term called as the performance measure. Okay. Here comes the term called as the performance measure, means how to measure the success. Now when you say that the agent have cleaned both the rooms, okay, when you say that the agent have cleaned both the rooms, so that means the performance of the agent or the measurement of the agent is 100%, right? But if you say from both the rooms the agent have cleaned only one room, okay, from both the rooms the agent have cleaned only one room, so you may directly say the performance of the agent is 50%, right? The performance of the agent is 50%. So we need to measure the rationality, or we need to measure the performance of the agent. Is an objective function that determines how the agent does successfully. So performance measure is a type of a term which determines how the agent does successfully. In what way the agent have performed the operation. So what is the successful rate, or what is the successful idea of the agent. So for example, in your exam you write some exam and then you get the scorecard or mark sheet. So suppose in the mark sheet you are getting the 9-pointer. So that means your measure or your performance in the exam or in the same 3 or in the same 4, 5 or likewise is 90% out of 10, right? Your performance is 90% out of 10. If you are getting the 8 pointers, then your performance is 80%, or you have performed 80% well out of 100% in the particular semester. So likewise, to understand the word rationality, we need to understand the performance measure, and performance measure is the determination how the agent does successfully, or how the agent is performing. This is the type of measurement. Okay, this is a type of measurement. So for example, the vacuum cleaner agent have performed the 30% work, it is completed the 90% of work, but how this 30% or 90% is coming in picture? For example, in your mark sheet, when you get the 9-pointer, then we can say that you have performed 90% well in the semester exam, right? But if there is no criteria and just it is mentioned that you are pass or you are fail, then how do you know that how you have performed in the semester? We cannot get that number. So to measure the performance of particular agent, we require the performance measure, and performance measure is the determination of how the successfully agent have performed the performance measure, and that is called as the general rules for performance measure. So what is the general rule for performance measure? Understand it properly because we are going to use in future. So what is the general rule for performance measure? It is better to design performance measure according to what one actually wants in the environment rather than how one thinks the agent should behave. So the basic idea behind the performance measure is a rule which says about the design performance measure according to what one actually wants in the environment. मतलब हमें environment में क्या करना है और actually what the agent should perform in that particular environment. That we need to consider. Rather, how one thinks the agent should behave. मतलब हमारे थिंकिंग से वो रोबोट काम नहीं करेगा. तो रोबोट का जो एक्चुअल परफॉर्मेंस है वो ही उसको करना है. एक एजेंट को एक्चुअल परफॉर्मेंस जो होगा वही उसको करना है. फॉर एग्जांपल, the vacuum cleaner agent is the vacuum cleaner example is made to clean the room or to remove the dust, right? He will not work to fit your plumbing activities, or he will not repair your fan, right? वो क्या है? वो vacuum cleaner agent है. So the basic idea for vacuum cleaner agent is to clean the room or to clean the space, right? He will not repair the fan for his rational, right? So when it cleans the room, when it cleans the room properly, so what is that rationality again? Again come that picture in mind. Okay. So what is rational at any given time depends on the four things. So rationality, or when you say any particular agent is rational, so that depends on the four things. That concept depends on the four things. So what are those four things? The first one, the performance measure that defines the criteria of success. So we need to identify some performance measure that defines the criteria of success. So for example, just look at this thermostat. Okay, just look at this thermostat. So at present, the current room temperature is, let us say, 25 in Copenhagen. Okay. At present, the current room temperature is, let us say, 25 degrees Celsius in the Copenhagen. Then the thermostat should represent the temperature as 25 degree. Okay, the thermostat must represent the temperature to be 25 degree and not beyond that. So based on that, the criteria of success will be decided. So for deciding or for rationality, the performance measure is very important concept to determine the criteria of success. Okay. Second thing, the agent's prior knowledge of the environment. So how can the agent becomes rational, or how do you know that you need to carry an umbrella today? Okay. How do you know that you need to carry an umbrella today? So it may be because it is a rainy season, so it is obviously the rain can fall anytime, right? The rain can fall anytime. So it is obvious operation that you are carrying an umbrella. We need to create some logics. Okay, we need to create some logistic questions. So what is that? So how to identify the performance measure of a vacuum cleaner? The performance measure awards 1 point for each clean square at each time step. So if now this is one part which is room A. Okay, this is one part which is room A, and this is another part which is room A. So this is A room and this is B room. Okay, this is A room and this is B room. Now A room contains 4 blocks. Okay, A room contains the 4 blocks and B room also contains the 4 blocks. So when a robot or vacuum cleaner agent cleans a one single square, okay, when vacuum cleaner agent cleans the one single square, we will allocate 1 point to him. Okay, we will allocate 1 point to him. Like okay. So when the agent cleans the one square, we will allocate 1 points to him. Okay. Same way, if agent clears the or cleans the B square, all the rooms, then we will allocate 1 point. Points which are allocated, or the points which are the measurement we need to consider to evaluate the performance. Okay. Performance measure means the criteria we need to consider to measure the performance of the system. So performance measure awards 1 point for each clean square at each time. So when the agent cleans one square, he will get the 1 point. Okay. When the agent cleans the one square, he will get the 1 point. Sensor and a dirt sensor, the agent can get the perception from the environment. Okay. So now, by considering these circumstances, the agent is rational. Okay. So if you know the background, if you know the environment properly, and the agent is knowing the environment properly, task environment. Okay, the very important part is the task environment. So for example, that just now we have said that there are two rooms A and B. A is having the 4 blocks and B is having the 4 blocks accordingly. But this block or this A square or this B square or A room and B room is actually represents the environment. This A room and B room actually represents the environment. Now this environment means what? In which location or in which atmosphere the agent is going to work. In which atmosphere the agent is going to work and how it is going to perform. So for example, when you are when it's exam time, so in the offline mode, you people need to reach to the college and sit in particular room, and there is one examiner who will perform the monitoring, right? So attempting an exam in a classroom is an environment. Okay, agent, a student can be considered as the agent, and room in which the student is giving the exam is considered as the atmosphere or is considered as the environment, and that is called as the task environment. So task environment are the problems actually, while the rational agent are the solution. Why it is called as problems? Because when an agent need to perform any particular operation, we need to make aware of the type of atmosphere or the type of environment the agent could have. मतलब वो किस environment में काम करेगा, वो जो environment है, उसका जो surrounding है, उसके बारे में उसको हमें knowledge देना होगा. We need to create the awareness. We need to give a knowledge of the environment to the agent. So